Hello developers! It's time to write some integration tests in an old school way. So last time, as you remember, we already wrote 3 success path integration tests for our create, update and delete endpoints for the car API. And today we are going to write some negative use cases. We are going not write negative, we are going to cover negative use cases. For example, validation errors, car not found, etc., etc. And one more positive use case that we need to cover is the find cars by user. That is the plan for today. My name is Dima. I am software engineer with almost 15 years of experience. And here I am showing the development process as it is, as I'm doing on my daily job. So from the scratch, we are writing the project from the scratch, and whole the process you can see here, including all my mistakes. And you already seen, at least some of you who were watching my previous stream, you realized how many mistakes we can catch using the integration tests. And this is very important. Quickly reminder what we are doing here is we are writing car maintenance tracker application. This is the application to track what I did during the previous maintenance job for my car, and I hope we will write some logic to predict what I will need to do, for example, on the next maintenance job. The backend is built on the Java Spring Boot. The latest Java is 25, Spring Boot 3.5.7 as far as I remember, and the Postgres. We are building the REST API, and we are going to integrate our REST API with the custom ChatGPT. I will show you a little bit later how does it look like, because I realized that a lot of people do not really know what is the custom ChatGPT, and I think I will show it in the end of the stream. But today, let's get started with the integration test. We need to finish the tests today and proceed with with the things that are, more interesting for us. And as you remember, we wrote 3 tests, and there was a problem that when I ran all the tests at once, that delete, okay. I don't like the naming, so maybe we can rename it. Sounds like when request is valid should be okay. So it's better naming, I think. Let's reuse it here as well. Okay, so but when we run the single test, this is the delete. It's green, and I will show you how to debug it. One moment, I will show you that it's actually green. So the problem is the following. There are 3 tests, and the common thing between all those tests are the database. That means that something is wrong in the database layer. So let me show you the error when I start all the 3 tests. Wow, it's not even it's blinking test. So sometimes it's green, sometimes it's not. It's even better. Oh, did I fix it? No. I just started it. You have seen it was failing. It's magic, it's magic. But I have GitHub Actions, and it's failed here. It's quite complicated to fix such tests because it's blinking. Sometimes it's green, and it's hard to catch that moment you know, when it's actually failing. So it says that we expected the empty cars, but there was one of them. That means database was not cleaned up correctly. So, and as you remember, we added the SQL script. This is for insert users, and one more SQL script to clean up everything into the database. So I think we can replace it with the truncate. It should work much faster. And I think the problem is here because we said that this script should be executed after the whole test class, but we need to clean up database after each test, and we need to execute it after test method, and here we need to execute it before the test method. Each time we are populating data into the database, and each time we clean it up after the test executed. So on the beginning of each test, the database is absolutely cleaned up, and we so our tests are independent one from another. Let's check quickly what is going on. Okay, something went wrong. Connection is closed. What? It's interesting. Maybe truncate doesn't work. Script statement failed. Yeah. Insert users. Why we cannot insert the user? Duplicate key value. Well, it's unique constraint. So the user with the same email exists. Again, looks like the cleanup doesn't work. So let's remove back and set the delete. Not sure why truncate doesn't work. So maybe the SQL doesn't know how to execute truncate command, and it knows the delete from, and that's it. Yeah, as you can see, it's green. And let's quickly write one more success pass test. By the way, I wanted to change our API very quickly while it's on the development phase. I wanted to remove users /user/user ID in this API because it's useless. You can execute it only from your user, and you cannot switch users, for example. It's not legit, and I think it makes sense to remove users here in such use case. So I wanted to remove it quickly, rebuild the project. It will regenerate the interfaces. Let's take a look. It should fail actually. Car controller. We need to remove the user here to make it working actually. Come on, fail. What? We forgot to remove it from the parameters here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, let's check here. So we changed the URL. We need to remove the parameter section here. We need to remove it here as well. There is a car parameter, it's fine. And yeah, looks much better. So it's failed. As you can see, the method does not override method from its superclass. So that means the superclass doesn't have the user ID, and we need to remove it here. And yeah, we need to extract the user from the token right now. to pass it here because we need user actually. So usually, if we write the controllers in the usual way without OpenAPI Maven generator that generates interfaces for us and DDOs, we can use something like that authenticated principal, and we can insert the authenticated user details here directly, and that's it. But in our case, we need to get it in another way, so we need to use security context holder, and we need to get the context, and we need to get the authentication, and we need to get the details object as far as I remember, and this should be authenticated user details. Let's check it quickly. Not sure if it will be working. Maybe I need to roll it back while authentication and authorization doesn't work in our use case. So this is the, come on. I think it was a bad idea. We will refactor it when we will finish the authentication part. So let's revert it back because we I can show you quickly. We pass the token here, token provider, and so on. Here it is. This is the header with the token, and we need to implement filter that will convert our JWT token into the user object. And I think it's not present in the controller right now. So I think, one moment, let me revert it back, regenerate quickly, and we will check what is inside of the authenticated, inside of the security context. For example, I can write, I can run the endpoint. Where is this is the create, and let's take a look. We will evaluate the code directly in the controller and take a look what is inside. Can we use it at all or not? Okay, so we are in the controller. Let's try to evaluate security context holder, the get context, get authentication. As you can see, we have anonymous user here, so there is no sense to refactor it in such way. We need to implement authentication filter first. So, and I hope we will do it on the next session. Okay, let's get back to our tests. I wanted to write some tests. For example, we need to cover find cars by ID. Find cars by user ID. There is no request body or anything else. Should return. Okay, so something like that. So we can copy paste it quickly. This should be get controller cars controller API, and this is the pass that we need. We provide the user. Where is the user? Yeah, we get the user first. There is no car ID here. We provide some token. It's okay, and we expect to get okay. Let's take a look what we will get back. Maybe we can implement the response quickly. So as you remember, we have the fixture folder. This is the cars. We can add the get by user ID folder. This is the response. What is the structure here? Oh, this is the status code. It's 200 JSON, and as far as I remember, we expect the array of the cars. So let me take a look what is here. We insert the users. Okay. So we need to insert at least one car into the database, and then we can check that this endpoint should return something. Oh, we can check, for example, should return empty list first, empty list. If there is no cars, this is the get method, right? We should expect to get the empty list, 200 empty, for example. This is one test case. So, and we can say that expect JSON that equal to resource loader. We want to load this file and compare it against the response we get back. Response. What? I hate this behavior that IntelliJ is doing. I definitely need to find how to stop breaking the strings. Let's test it quickly. Okay, it's green. So we get back the empty array of the cars. And let's try to insert something. Where is the... Oh, this is the create. So we can use it. It doesn't matter really what ID is inside. No, it matters. We want to validate it as well. Should return one car in the list. So first of all, I want to insert the car. So this is the valid car actually. We want to add the expected JSON single car JSON. So it should be array and the single car should be inside. So this is the ID. We need to format it. This is the number actually. And we should expect the created at here as well. So it doesn't really matter what created ID created at field inside. So we just check that it's any string, but the ID of the car we want to validate. So we will insert it from the response here. So we insert the car, we return some result, get response, and get content as a string. So this is the response. So, and I want to use the object mapper to read the tree. It will read the JSON into the JSON node. So, and I want to get the ID as long. This is the car ID. And I want to use the single car response, and I want to format in order to insert the car ID. Oh, it should be, it's not S, it's D. %D means we want to insert some digital number instead, and S means the string, as you know. So let's take a look. There is some error, null pointer exception. Really? Okay, let's take a look what is inside of the response. It looks good. So there is an ID, and we should be able to get it as long. Where is the null pointer? Object mapper is null? Wow. It's interesting. IntelliJ inserted the object mapper for us, but we have one. It's just mapper. Let's run it once again. Okay, that's good. And I wanted to push those tests. Test at find cars by user positive pass case tests. Okay, push it, and let's start with the validation first. For example, we have the create endpoint, and when request is invalid, should return bad request. So this is the request, and let's create some invalid. For example, we can say that make is empty. We can remove model, for example, completely. The year should be something like that. It's invalid year, right? And engine and fuel type, it doesn't matter for us. As far as I remember, we don't have any validation on these fields yet. So do we have? Let's take a look quickly. So this is the create. This is the request. The max size is 255 characters. So maybe we can generate something bigger. Generate string of length. There is some online tools that we can use. I think string length 256. Okay. And insert it here and here, for example. So we should get back 5 validation errors, one for the make, for model, for year, for engine, and for the fuel type. Let's take a look. So we expect to get, where is the test? We expect to get bad request, and the response should be something different, but let's take a look quickly. Maybe we will need to write some little framework that will generate expected response for us. You know, when you run the test first time, you can generate the JSON file based on the response you get back. So let's take a look what we get in the response. Oh, it's fine. I forgot to use the invalid response. Let's restart it quickly. And take a look what we get here. Yeah, we get some errors. Let's take a look. So I will create the expected response for 100. This is the bad request, and take a look on the errors. So engine, it's invalid size. Fuel type is the same. Make should not be empty. Model should not be null. But the year, there is no validation error for the year. Let's take a look on our validations. So there is nothing for the year. Okay. I think we need to add something. Year, min. Okay, let's take a look. Create car request. And where is the year? Model year, yeah, get year. There is nothing. Okay. Open API integer validation. Do we have something? Minimum. It's not a min, it's minimum. Okay. As you can see, we just found one more mistake in our code that we, catched using our integration tests. One moment. Let me break the bug. Okay, let's validate that the annotation is present. Create car. What? Where is it? Create car response. Yeah, the minimum is here. That's correct. So let's execute our integration test once again. Maybe we can take a look into the errors here. So as you can see, so we expected the following, but get back the list of the errors here. And we can click here to see the difference. So I can copy paste the errors here and insert it right here. And let's take a look what is inside. So the year is validated as well. So probably, not probably, but definitely on your real life projects, you need to create more integration tests for the validation to be sure that everything is fine. But we are doing it, super quickly. And I think for our use case is more than enough. Okay, let's do the same for the update. For the update when request is invalid, should be bad request. Yeah, like this. This is the where is the update request? Yeah, here it is. So we need to create some invalid request. It's absolutely the same, I think, as we have for the creation. And the errors should be the same, I think. Let's check. So here we get the user, we create the car, we extract the car ID, and we execute the update against this user and car ID. And we need to use invalid request, and we need to expect 400. So something like this. 400 formatted. Do we need to format it? Yeah, I think yes. Yeah, we need to insert the same here. No sense. There is no car ID inside. So let's remove the formatting and check the test. Something is wrong. Expected. Yeah, we need to expect the bad request. It's not 200, right? We have an error once again. What is wrong? There is only 4 exceptions. Let's take a look. This is the actual. Let's insert it insert it here and take a look what is missing. I think the year, the problem with the year once again. Yeah, we have a separate request for the update car request, and the year should be minimum as far as I remember. Let's regenerate it quickly. Okay, update the request, where the year. Yeah, the minimum is on its place. Let's execute the test once again. Okay, it's green. One more thing that we need to test: what happens if there is no such car? So we need to get not found actually. When car ID when car ID is not present in the database, should return not found. So this is the user. We should not create any cars, and let's use just one, or maybe something like that should be better. This is the token. The request should be valid, right? It should be valid, and we should expect to get not found, and the response should be something like this, right? The field, I don't know, the car, and car with ID. What is the ID? This one. One moment. I was too fast. So we need to create 404 expected response, right? Like this. This should be the car. Where is the ID? This is the ID. And we can say that car with ID is not found. Something like that, right? And let's take a look what we will get back. We will get 500 as far as I remember. Yeah, that is right, because we don't have a custom handler for the car not found exception, and we need to add it. Okay, car not found. Yeah, this is the exception we have here, and it's thrown on the service layer, but on the API layer, I want to catch this exception and build some error message back. And we have the error package for the users, and this is should be created in the same name convention. This should be car rest controller advice. And as you remember, the order is very important when you have multiple controller advices here. So we need to say that our controller advice has the highest precedence, and we have something the same for the user. It's almost the same. We will edit it right now. So this is the car not found exception. This should be not found. We need to handle the car not found exception here and rename it a little bit. So in the response, we need to say that this is the car, and our expected message is the following. So this is the ID. And again, we want to format it and insert the car ID from the message, from the exception. Yeah, something like that. Let's try to execute our test once again. Sorry. Looks good. So we need to implement the same for delete endpoint, I think. We need to be sure that it's working in the same way. So we want to, this is the pass delete, this is the user and some ID. There is nothing here. There is no request body, and we need to expect not found, and we need to copy. We need to copy the expected response to the delete section here as well. We don't even have it. So delete, this is the response. Yeah, maybe it makes sense to create a separate section in the fixtures for the exceptions, because it's duplicating sometimes. But let's keep it like this. Each endpoint has its own requests and responses. So could be different, but in the most cases it's the same. Okay, so let's adjust the expected response here and take a look. There is an error in our test. It's 500 once again. Why is it 500? Unhandled exception occurred. So something is wrong here. Scroll up. Yeah, that's right. This is the unsupported media type, etc., etc. I think we did the put instead of delete. This is the wrong HTTP method. We should not create custom error handlers for such use cases. There is no sense actually. So the test is green. So we checked, first of all, we covered the create endpoint with the validation test. We checked the validation on the update endpoint. We checked the use case when the car is not found in the update endpoint, and we did the same for the delete endpoint as well. So for the find cars by user ID, we can write the test, but as you see on the begin, I'm planning to adjust the URLs in order to remove the /user/user ID, because there is no sense to provide the user. You cannot switch users here, and you just retrieving the cars, your own cars. You cannot retrieve cars from your friend. So, but we will do this once we will finish the authentication and authorization part. And that is why I think we will skip the test, for example, when the user is not found for the cars. But if you have such a use case when you need to provide the user ID, for example, and it could be missing in the database, you probably definitely need to add some validation test. What is wrong here? Great. This is the, we need to expect 400 here. This is the, for the bad request. Let's restart it once again. Okay, all of our tests are green. So let's take a look what we changed. So we added the controller advice for the cars. We fixed the validation here, as you remember. So we catch two problems while we are writing our negative use cases. So this is the requests and response that we used. So let's add negative come on, negative pass tests for cars API. Okay, push it. So I wanted to remind you that we have the GitHub repository. My project is open source, so everyone can easily access it. I added the link to the description below the video, so you can clone the repository, take a look what I'm doing here, do whatever you want actually. But the only one requirement here is to press the start button on the repository layer. You know, it motivates me to see that stars are growing and so on. Yeah, I created the pull request. And as you can see, this is the list of the commit messages and so on. And I built very simple GitHub actions. This is the CI, continuous integration. So we can see that build is green, and right now tests are executing. And you can see the process, for example, here. It downloaded the test containers and so on, so executed the tests. We have 16 tests here, everything is fine, build is green, and so on. One more thing I wanted to add today, I wanted to add JaCoCo plugin to track the test coverage on our project. So we have a little bit of time, and I think it makes sense to spend it, you know, spend it while adding some useful things into our project. Spring, JaCoCo. I think this guy has articles on each topic. Okay, prepare agent and report. One moment. We want to integrate it with the Sonar Cube, I think, to track the coverage, you know, when the coverage is changing. Yeah, I already opened it some time ago, but I think this plugin should look like this. Let's add it to the POM XML, the plugins, somewhere here. After the, yeah, put it to the end. JaCoCo, where I used to use the artifact ID plus version to specify the versions of the dependencies, of the plugins, and so on. So let's define the plugin version here and take a look what is the latest version. You can find it on the Maven repository. Here it is. This is the latest version. 0814. 0814. So let's reload it, and I can quickly show you how does it work. This is the JaCoCo plugins, you can see. So, and we can run site as far as I remember. Oh, we can just, you know, do the clean install, and it can generate the report for us. JaCoCo. So it should generate the report. Come on, it's not what we need. Just clean and install, and I can show you the result. Let's push it quickly. Add JaCoCo plugin. Okay, it's building, running our tests. Test is green, and we can open the target folder. There is the site. This is the JaCoCo, and we can take a look on the report here, I think. Open browser. And as you can see, so what is covered and what is not. So, and as you can see, for example, the car API model, we do not cover a lot of things. So, for example, the car details response DTO is missing some tests for the equals, for the hash code, for the for different parameters. So, but here we have some base point. This is the 51% of total coverage, and I want to control the coverage. The coverage of our code base should be increasing in the future. It should not fail. So you should not push any code to the main branch without the tests. Everything should be covered. So maybe it makes sense to ignore such folders. It's in the most cases it's useless, to cover the equals and hash code with the tests. So, and we can actually exclude something. I can show you quickly. This is the execution. This is the execution here. Let me remember how to exclude the dependencies. One moment. JaCoCo exclude package. I want to exclude few packages because there is no sense to cover it with the tests. As you can see, there is a configuration folder. As I searched, I don't know why IntelliJ didn't, suggest it to me the configuration. It should be smart enough to suggest me. So what we want to exclude is, this is the my package, or here, this is DS lab, this is the car maintenance tracker. So this is, there is some packages, there is a API folder, and there is the model, and we want to exclude everything. For example, we want to exclude all models from this package, we want to exclude all models from this package, and we want to exclude all models from this package as well. Let's take a look if it helps. And it's interesting if you'll see any results in our pull request. Yeah, so it's green, everything is fine. So I can squash and merge. Let's compare the report. Where is the report? Is here. Open in Chrome. Yeah, as you can see, total coverage. Maybe it should be better like this. Sorry for that. So the previous response, it's already refreshed. So as you can see, the coverage increased to 76%. So and we have some util classes. Yeah, this is not used right now, but we will use it a little bit later. We didn't validate all these things. as well, but we will need to add some validation in the future because we don't use maybe some of them. But in general, 76% of the test coverage is super nice. So add model exclusion to the JaCoCo. Okay, push it here, and I registered my project into the SonarQube. SonarQube, where are you? Ah, Sonar Cloud. It's Sonar Cloud. I have my project here, and I hope it should be. Aha, it's not calculated yet, so I need to understand how to, include my project to the SonarQube. But I'm not sure that we are going to do it right now and today. So this is the JaCoCo. It should find it. Maybe when we will merge our pull request into the main branch, the Sonar will realize that there is a JaCoCo report inside, and maybe he will grab the information that we need, but I'm not sure if, to be honest, so I will need to investigate. But in general, what I want to achieve here, I want to see the I want to see the test coverage results here. Maybe we can follow this guide quickly. We have some time. Where is it? This one. So it says that we need to add some properties to our project, and let's take a look. So we need to add the properties into the POM XML file. Maybe we can add it to the very end. So we can say that we use a Java plugin, JaCoCo. We want to reuse reports. The path to the JaCoCo report is the following, and our language is Java. So add Sonar Cloud properties. And let's take a look here. We can see the progress somewhere here. So maybe during the build stage, no? There is nothing like that. Is there something in the test? So the project is building, but it's building without the test. But to build the report, we need to execute some tests and see the test coverage. So I think I don't expect that the report will be generated on this phase. It should be generated here. And if SonarQube will find the project, so something should happen on the test stage. But I'm not absolutely sure, if to be honest, because the SonarQube has integration with the GitHub, and maybe it executes some actions, separately on their side. Okay, new code, previous version number. Yeah, we want to compare against the previous version. Quality profiles, the main branch, pull requests. No pull requests analyzed yet. Create a new pull request in GitHub repository or push something on an existing one. I think we need to merge our pull request into the main branch. It can execute, the tests again the main branch, and then when we will create a new pull request, it can compare the test coverage from the main branch to the branch we created, for the pull request, and then it can see, it can show you the difference. For example, the coverage grow up or goes down. So yeah, there is nothing like that. It's interesting. Maybe we have something in the rule set that we can use. Is the sonar? Sonar? No, nothing like that. Okay, I will take a look a little bit later. I have one of my project set up. I can show you maybe. It's a little project that I white coded for my children. And yeah, there is some pull requests. And you can see this is the quality gate. And you can see, for example, what is the coverage on the new code, what is the duplication percentage, and so on and so on. So this is the goal. So we are going to do the same, but maybe next time. And the last thing that I wanted to show you today is the custom ChatGPT. What is this? Because I mentioned about the custom ChatGPT in every stream, but I realized that a lot of people do not really know what is it. So there is a market of the GPTs, and you can create your own. So you can specify what it's going to do. You can add some configurations here. You can add the instructions. You can add, some knowledge. You can choose the model, what it can do. But the most interesting for us, we can create the action. And the action, this is the Open API schema, for example. This is the Open API schema as well. This one, for example. Yeah, it cannot find the valid URLs because we have just /login here. But when the project will be ready, we will deploy it on some server into the internet. We will buy the domain name, and here will be define the full path, domain and the URI. And in such way, it will be valid, and ChatGPT will know, for example, how to authenticate, how to get the cars, how to add the cars, how to update it, and so on and so on. So this is the original idea. And unfortunately, we will need to rewrite our registration and authentication workflow. I wanted to start my streams as fast as possible, and that is why I skipped the investigation phase. So I found out that ChatGPT can do this integrations, and decided, okay, let's go. We will figure out it a little bit later. But right now, after the investigation, I can tell you that there is a problem with the login endpoint we built previously. The problem is that the user will need to write down his password into the ChatGPT, and this is not a good idea from the security point of view. Unfortunately, a lot of users are using the same password on a lot of different websites, and it's not really secure to use your password into the ChatGPT directly. That is why I wanted to do the following. Let me show you. This is the sequence diagram builder. So this is the ChatGPT login flow that I want to build. So this is the this is the GPT. This is our server. The only one way that I can see it's possible to log in the user without the password is to send the email. For example, user into the writes email into the ChatGPT and says, log me in. So, and ChatGPT knows the endpoint on our server and passes the email to our service, to our server, without the password. Only email, nothing else. So then our server can send the email. Send email to the user. This is the one thing. And our server, maybe it's third step. So our server can generate some code, auth code, for example, and save it into the database. So you can see, so GPT makes the request to our server with the email. Our server generates the auth code and stores it into the database and sends the email to the user. So it's not email, this is the user. And then the user can go back to the ChatGPT like this and say that this is the auth code I got on my email. So it writes the auth code, and ChatGPT knows what to do with this auth code. It can go back to our server and say that this is the auth code and give me JWT token back. So this is provides auth code, and GPT gets back the server get JWT token. So this is the flow, and then ChatGPT can take our JWT token and go with this token to the rest of our endpoints. For example, it can say, give me the cars, and this is the JWT token. So this is the only way I can, sorry for that, why didn't, this is better. I always forgot to, to zoom in. Again, so ChatGPT say, please log me by this email, log me in by this email. Server generates the auth code and stores it into the database, and send the email with this auth code to the user. Send email with auth code to the user. So user can copy paste this code and insert it to the ChatGPT. So give me, and then the ChatGPT makes the request to our server and say, give me the give me JWT token by auth code. So our server makes the request to the database, check auth code, check and get and validate, maybe get and validate auth code. It makes the request back to our server like this, and if everything is fine, our server generates the JWT token back and returns it to the ChatGPT, and ChatGPT knows how to use it in the further requests. So this is the idea that I want to implement. I don't see any other possibilities, and if you know, please drop the comment. Maybe I do not know something, because ChatGPT does not support auth2 authentication. There is no sense to integrate, for example, Spring authorization server or something like that to build our auth2 flow. And this is the only way that I can see that we can build. So that means we need to rewrite the login endpoint. We need to, integrate some emails, sending mechanism, and so on. We will need to do a lot of things. But generally we have the JWT token generation mechanism already. It's already implemented. So, but we will need to rewrite the flow. And after that, we will need to write the authentication filter as well, or use Spring Resource server to validate the tokens, to convert the token into the authentication object, to be able to extract, for example, the user ID or user email, whatever we will need in the future. And definitely we will need to store the password into the database. I think we will drop this column in the future. Yeah, that's it. If you like the process I'm showing here, if you want to follow up what we will build in the future, if you will want to see the result that we will deploy to the production, please subscribe to my channel. My name is Dima, and I hope we will. I know that we will meet together with you on Wednesday. See you and have a nice day.